for some people, they will not be able to hold on to a 2000x.
Absolutely.
Been in crypto for a while. Been in Hex. No, I didn't get in right away. I was convinced not to get in by a couple of my friends that were also pretty heavy in crypto. And then I was able to just, not work for a couple of years because of Hex. I didn't dump Hex, but I have a couple other buddies that are pretty deep in crypto. They're for sure that I got scammed on Pulsechain, and they're just waiting for it to just fizzle out. And I have a great story. I was listening to Richard. I was in Litecoin listening to Richard at the time before Hex, and I wanted to get in, but I was convinced to not buy Hex early on. So needless to say, but yeah, I went pretty deep into Pulsechain and Pulsex as well, and I'm very excited. So I'm just glad to be in the space, and thank you guys. Yeah.
Hey, your friends are gonna learn the hard way, man. My God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean that's something that you're gonna have to, guys. Y'all are also gonna have to be paying attention to your friends too. What he just said right there is massive. Who you associate yourself with, who you spend time with. The people who just want to go out to drink at the bar every single night and they just don't have any goals and ambitions. Like, do you really need to be associating with them at least for the first year, 2 years of Pulsechain launching, right? Like, go make the fucking money.
Yeah, exactly. I did very well in Hex, but the thing was I should have got in early on, even though I followed Richard the whole way before that. So it's just crazy that just listening to other people that were just trading crypto, you think you're a genius trader when the market's going up anyways. You think you're a genius. And then they see Richard, flexing all these bags, and they say, "Oh, no, don't trust this guy." And I'm like, "No, I've been following this guy for, 2 years before that anyway." Yeah, it's crazy.
Again, I can't believe we're still on that. Great things take time, people, and he wants to get it right. So let's not rush him. Let's not try to tell the man who knows what he's doing what to do. He got it.
So what's interesting, Ethereum Classic was the original ETH. Ethereum is the fork of Ethereum Classic, and Pulsechain is going to be the fork of Ethereum, which is the fork of Ethereum Classic. And which did better, the original or the fork?
Well, actually,
ETH is the fork, and ETH
Ethereum
did
now
better.
is the copy, is the fork of the second Ethereum. So we're copying the third Ethereum, technically, right?
Correct. This is an example of, like, we could have a situation where Pulsechain outperforms Ethereum to a large degree, just like Ethereum outperformed Ethereum Classic. We could see that same scenario play out. And how did it play out with Ethereum? Ethereum became the dev's place, right? The place to use your smart contracts. And Ethereum Classic said, we don't want to use smart contracts necessarily. Like, we're going to focus on just being ETH Classic. Perhaps Pulsechain becomes the space where people are doing their dev stuff, and we attract more of that crowd to build.
I think we could be the usage side. Like, the whole point of Ethereum is to not have usage, is to have development. And now with Pulsechain, well, you can have usage and development, but Ethereum can focus on its development.
Maddie was saying people will take, let's say, like a random coin that people are going to trade like crazy, but they can't trade it on Pulsechain. It's meme coin coming out. Maybe they bridge it over to Pulsechain and people do the trades over there, and then they can bridge back to ETH afterwards. But we get the volume on Pulsex.
Yeah, well, you could do that if they create a high enough liquidity, right?
Imagine $500 gas fees. Why would you do it on ETH?
Exactly, but you could have developed it on ETH and have it copied over, so you have both in synchronization. But at the same time, too, it's like the power we have with LP. I don't think people understand that, like, you don't need things to be 1-on-1. Only a certain percentage of hex is in the pools. Like, everyone's like 17 million hex was dumped, and look at what the price did. Like, to me in my head, I'm like, okay, like, that means nothing. Like, you understand there's 680 billion of it, right? There's 10,000 more where that came from, of 17 million people dumping. So, like, I just think that, like, people just got to understand that, like, when liquidities are utilized at a certain proportion or a certain ratio of a percentage of the supply, well, then you can do pretty much anything you want with it. You can create a liquidity, like you said, trade only on Pulsechain and bring the value back to Ethereum. Well, it's even better than that, because it's like, well, you don't even need to do the volume, and you don't need to have have any value. As long as you have a ratio between both coins, then people can do something with it. And that's why I keep, freaking out over the fact that, we can bring our PRC20s to Ethereum as soon as it starts, right? And like people think that like they'll make more money on Pulse Chain, but like what they don't realize is like if you're the only supplier on Ethereum, you're getting all the fees. There's only 4 of you, you're splitting it 25% each or whatever proportion you have. So like I think people need to wake up a bit and understand that like it's not about feelings, it's not about emotion, and it's definitely not about financial literacy, because crypto is not financial literacy. Crypto is a new invention that was invented off of mathematics. It doesn't work like that, because you could create a coin with 1 token and there's more numbers between 0 and 1 than there is 0 and infinity. So the token supply of something actually is so meaningless and worthless in the span of things, because all you need to do is utilize a liquidity pool and have people trade and have people want that. Like the actual USDC who have the admin keys and everything. What's stopping them from burning the 100 USDC Ethereum and then reminting it on Pulse Chain? So that would probably be the best, that would be the most trustless bridge I've ever seen in my life. The fact that you could burn and remint it on the other side, so any type of USDC from Ethereum or Pulse Chain is actually $1. It is like in my head, I'm like, why isn't no one talking about this?
I pulled up the Ethereum validators a couple days ago. It was 4.4%. Today it was like 6.6% yield. But the fact that Richard Art's trying to outdo that is really incredible. The old system, that we were copying for Pulse was underwhelming, to say the least. I just don't see a lot of people not wanting to participate, and that means a lot of people need 32 million ETH for Pulse, right? They'll need 32 million Pulse, so it's going to be a massive amount of people trying to lock up their Pulse.
How easy will it be, do you guys think, in the future to be a validator?
I'm going to say our community is going to make it quite easy. So say Ethereum with Coinbase. You go on Coinbase, you click a couple buttons and you're a quote-unquote validator. No, you're not really, but essentially the users didn't have to do anything. I think we're going to have Rocket Pool. So Alex is bringing over Rocket Pool, which is like a kind of like a decentralized pooling of your coins into they basically give you a receipt coin. So you'll put in let's say you have 10 million each or something, and then you all together become one validator, and then he would be actually running the computer itself, most likely. I think it's going to be much easier.
Yeah.
You know what Pulse Chain needs? Pulse Chain needs fresh cash to be injected into the crypto ecosystem. Pulse Chain needs a project designed by its people in order to drive actual economical fiat back into the hands of those who want to put it back into the system. That's what we need. We don't need a way to make coins to steal the value or steal the ratio or steal stuff. What we need is more cash to be put in. The more we put cash in this, the more it'll be stronger and the more we'll have weight in the system.
Well, how do you define success?
Adoption, mass adoption.
Mass adoption?
Well, like, people using Pulse Chain like they would use Ethereum.
Are you talking about real people coming in? Are we talking about some coins that might pump the network and then inflate it that way? Or are you talking about like the influencers actually saying, because some of them are talking about it right now, but it almost looks like they're just defending their bag. So maybe they come in, they do a 3x, and then they just go and leave, and then they don't talk about Pulse Chain ever again, like BitBoy did with
I mean, like, when you log on to MetaMask, you're on Pulse Chain. Instead of at default, you're on Ethereum. Good luck, bro.
Do you think Binance Smart Chain has mass adoption?
No.
You do not. Why?
Because most normal crypto people don't, unless they're into yield farming and major S coins, that they're not using Binance Chain.
I would counter that much of the world's population in crypto is using Binance Smart Chain. And I would also counter that when you open up MetaMask, even though you have the ability to have Binance Smart Chain and MetaMask, it's not there. Ethereum is the default. But then the question becomes, are you wanting to make money? Is that why you're concerned about mass adoption? Because if that's the case, it doesn't take mass adoption to make money. It takes a strong community. I think as evidenced by what we've seen with what RH has done, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a discussion today with some colleagues, coworkers, and they've gambled, they've invested, they know a little bit about the space, but they don't know about a hard fork of Ethereum that is bigger, faster, stronger. They don't know about it. So it may be an echo chamber, it may be a Twitter thing, it may be an internet thing, but until it's at the water cooler, right? I'm just wondering if it'll ever get to the water cooler. I guess
it doesn't really matter at this point, honestly, if the rest of the world knows about Pulse Chain, like everybody, every person with a brain knows about it. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but we've gotten to the point with Pulse Chain where it's just land that's going to be settled, and we can actually create our own fate with the community that we have. And you got to understand that, you know, if you don't think BitBoy talking about it is mass adoption, and if you don't think that Ivan on Tech is talking about it is mass adoption, or you don't think conversations are being had, Peter McCormick and our furry little friend Eric Wall, if you don't think that's mass adoption, you know what? I would say I agree with you, but they're talking about it and people do know about it.
Well, I'll tell you, you're
People that
right.
are going to drive the price appreciation are going to be the people that are in this room right now.
Right.
And when people see the success, I think that's when they come through. When they see the price chart, I know crypto, people know crypto, that's when they ape in. They ape in too late, but that's what happens with every chain, I think.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. I saw that interview a couple weeks back, and it was a cringe. And I don't know a ton about those guys, but I googled them quickly, and it was also cringe. It's like, who cares? But yeah, I know they're big name people, and they spent 20 minutes talking about it. So it was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we got to beg for the scraps of anybody in cryptocurrency at all. Zero. We don't have to beg for those scraps. We can go do our own thing and build this out. Make it extremely user friendly with the builders that we have. A lot of financial friction needs to be decreased through infrastructure, and we're doing that right now. And once you create a good project, you know, somebody told me this a while back when I was like Eminem wannabe, I'm wearing a wife beater and I'm trying to be a music producer. I go up to this guy and I'm like, hey man, how do you actually get people to listen to your music? And he sat back and he's like, just go make good music and people will come to you. There's no secret. And the same thing applies to blockchain. Go make good infrastructure, go make a good blockchain, and people will come to you. So the simple fact that you're in this room right now asking these questions now puts you probably in the best position imaginable, in my opinion.
Well, being patient and doing nothing is some of the hardest things in life, right?
Oh, absolutely. I am a testament to that, and many people are.